Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear participants. My name is Natalia Rivera, and I am the chair of the WASOG 2023 conference. So I give you, on behalf of the WASOG organization, I give you a warm welcome for coming to this beautiful event. The Aula Medica, where we gather here today, is where we host the Nobel Lectures, the Nobel Lecture in Physiology and Medicine every year. Here, the Nobel laureates present their groundbreaking research and findings to an eager audience of fellow scientists, researchers, and to the public. As you can see here, this is our last Nobel laureate, Svante Pääbo. And the eager audience, we make a line, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you get a picture with a Nobel laureate. The WASOG conference represents an extraordinary gathering of brilliant minds, professionals, and experts from various fields, fellow scientists, and in the area of institutional lung diseases and computational biology. We have come here together with a shared purpose to exchange ideas, discuss groundbreaking research, and foster collaborations that will shape the future of institutional lung diseases. Chiefly, using big data, our theme from the conference, we want to move forward the field of sarcoidosis of pulmonary fibrosis towards precision medicine so we can help our patients. As the chair of the conference, it is my duty to ensure that this event serves as its purpose, which is a platform for insightful conversations, engaging debates, and disseminating the knowledge that transcends boundaries and barriers. We aim to create an environment where we can learn, grow, and contribute to advancing the collective knowledge that we know today and move the field forward towards precision medicine, thus improving healthcare and the care of the patients affected by institutional lung diseases. Over the 3-day conference that we have planned here today, we have an enriched program. We have assembled an impressive lineup of speakers who will share their expertise, inspiring us with their stories and failures, and share the visionary ideas and experiences. The parallel sessions, which consist of multiple poster-moderated sessions, poster talks, and posters, also our industry symposia and a patient education session, will provide researchers for an opportunity to share their ideas and knowledge, also to help professionals and industry leaders to present their latest findings, innovative solutions, and success stories. I encourage you to actively participate in the sessions, engage in meaningful discussions, and make connections that can lead to fruitful collaborations. Take this unique opportunity and advantage of this beautiful conference to expand your horizons, challenge existing paradigms, and explore new frontiers. Remember that the success of this conference does not only lie on the quality of the presentations, but also on the connections that we make today. Please make the most of the networking opportunities, as this is a crucial aspect of our shared journey towards progress and excellence to meet our goals towards personalized medicine. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the WASOG organization, who gave me the opportunity to organize this event. Also to Johan Grunewald, who also gave me the opportunity from the Karolinska Institutet to organize this. I would also like to thank the International Committee and the local committees, our volunteers, our sponsors, exhibitors, and our professional conference organizers, who have worked non-stop to make this conference a reality. Their dedication, commitment, and support deserve our utmost appreciation. Lastly, I would like to thank you, all the participants. Today, without you, we will not have a conference. Today demonstrates your enthusiasm for learning, your passion for research and science in the field of ILD, and absolute commitment to make a positive impact. Your contribution and engagement will shape the success of this conference and pave the way for a brighter future. Once again, I welcome you all to this remarkable gathering. Let us embrace the opportunities ahead, seize the potential for collaboration, and inspire one another for the new heights. Thank you very much, and enjoy the conference. Now I would like to give the floor to Professor Johan Grunewald, a pioneer in sarcoidosis research and a professor of pulmonary medicine at Karolinska Institutet.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Natalia. So my name is Johan Grunewald, and I'm working here at Karolinska, and I was invited to say a few words about sarcoidosis as an introduction. And you know what WASOG stands for, I guess, World Association of Sarcoidosis and Other Granulomatous Disorders. So it's not only strictly sarcoidosis, but also fibrotic diseases and others. Already in 1953, legendary Jerry James arranged the first international meeting on sarcoidosis, and in '87 there was an international meeting in Milano, which was organized by the WASOG. And these gatherings or congresses usually attracted 75, maybe 100, maybe a little bit more participants every year, and coming from a few countries, really. In 2002, WASOG meeting was actually held here in Stockholm, hosted by Olof Selros and Anders Eklund. And today, I'm happy to say that we have more than 300 participants registered for this meeting. So it has grown substantially, as you can understand. And these 300 participants, they come from 40 or so different countries. So this is a movement that is spreading, you could say. And if we look at it on this chart, we can see that there are 4 or 5 dominant countries sending participants to this meeting, including Sweden, of course, because we are here, but also other countries around the world. United States as the dominant country here. And the first sarcoidosis picture, or drawing, because there were no cameras, was done by Dr. Hutchinson, our colleague in London. And in 1869, he had a patient with skin affections like the one you see here. And it was later turned out to be extrapulmonary manifestations of sarcoidosis, and that could affect any symptom, really. We could see engagement of the bronchus, of the ear, the joints, and lupus pernio. Also, the heart can be affected, as well as the central nervous system, and bone erosions may appear as also muscle affections, and also skin manifestations can be seen. So this is a very tricky diagnosis to set for the clinician, because the patients can have virtually any certain disease symptom. Another interesting part of this disease is the granuloma formation that we use to set the diagnosis. The granuloma itself is not specific for sarcoidosis, but it's more like suggestive. So these granulomas, they may form, and then and they can either progress and there will be fibrosis. They may persist for a long time, or they can resolve. And the last point is pretty interesting, I think, that this is a disease that where the immune system can sort of close down this activity of this inflammation. And genes are of importance for this disease. There are some in this picture. The red column show variants of the genes in Löfgren's and non-Löfgren's patient groups. And Löfgren's syndrome is the patient suffering from acute sarcoidosis. And you can see that they have there is an enormous red column at chromosome 6, especially for Löfgren's syndrome, but also for non-Löfgren's. So genetics plays definitely a role in this disease, and depending on the feature of the disease, this may be stronger or less stronger. So Sweden is the country with the highest reported incidence, and annually there are about 1,200 individuals that are diagnosed with sarcoidosis in Sweden. And actually 16,000 individuals live with this disease today in Sweden. So what is the connection? What is the exposure here? There is genetics and there is also exposure. And that could be, for many years it has been suggested, many different type of infectious agents, virus, bacteria, fungus. There might be inorganic substances, and autoimmune reactions may also be important in this disease. And unfortunately, we have to admit that we're still looking for this antigen or this substance that triggers this inflammation. So we're still looking for the needle in the haystack, you could say. But the immune system has shaped a mark, a track. So you can analyze that mark and you can learn what factors are important for that mark to be washed away or to be more firm in the sand in this case. And this could be important for making research, the footprint itself, but also what regulates the footprint. That is the immune reaction. In this system, we can for sure also see that big data could be of importance, as well as precision medicine. And mostly, I would stress what Natalia was mentioning, the way of collaborate. I think collaborations will be more and more important until we understand this disease more in detail. So the WASOG 2023 meeting today is not only research, but because of the pandemic that disappeared more or less, we can start communicating not only over the Zoom, and we can also have some nice social events together. We will show you something of that later on. And at these meetings where you meet people in face-to-face, then you can really initiate and trigger social events. So the first social event for this meeting is tonight at the Vasa Museum, where this was the ship that was set into water 1628, and it sank more or less immediately. So that was unfortunate, but as researchers also do, even failures you bring up and discuss. So that has been done a lot with the Vasa ship. You will see a very interesting story later on. And tomorrow there will be a visit to Skansen where the midsummer is planned, and there will be partying like people did more or less before in the ancient times. But that's a very interesting area also. Not long ago there was a group of older men having a dinner party at the Skansen, and they had some drinking and some eating and felt good. And then one of the members of that group leaned a little bit on a sort of wall that was made of glass, and he wanted to give a speech. So he leaned a little bit like this. But he didn't see the alligator that was just below him. and when he stood there, the alligator jumped right up and took his arm, actually. So that poor guy lost his arm in this. So be careful when you go into the... Please. Yes, and also on Wednesday there will be a cocktail party and farewell party on the Nobel Museum. Don't miss that. And you're always welcome back to Sweden when you leave us, and you could come in the winter, skating in the middle of the city, or why not with boat. So with this, I would like to end my presentation, and thank you for your patience and understanding for this. Thank you. And Daniel Culver, the president of WASOG, please.
Thank you, Johan. Welcome, everybody. My name is Dan Culver. It is truly a pleasure to be here in Karolinska Institute, a place I've never visited before, but of course I've heard and read so much about. I want to first start by thanking Natalia Rivera and really the whole organizing committee and the organizing group, but especially Natalia, who has been indefatigable, persistent, precise, in a conference that's focused on precision medicine, and relatively visionary about how she has set up this particular conference. And I think we should all take a moment and give Natalia a round of applause again for what she's done to organize this. And she truly is helping set a standard for these meetings in the future. I also want to thank everybody else involved in the conference organization, the organizing committee, the steering committee, and the sponsors. These kinds of things never happen without sponsorship, both from industry and from non-industry sponsors. So thank you to all of you for being part of this. It is quite appropriate that this meeting is here in Karolinska in 2023. This does feel a bit like an inflection point, but as Professor Grunwald pointed out, this is the first WASOG meeting that has returned to the site of a former WASOG meeting 21 years ago here in Stockholm. Was a prior WASOG meeting. And I think that's appropriate on a number of levels. I think it's appropriate from the standpoint that Scandinavia was really the locus of some of the early studies of sarcoidosis, and in fact the naming of the disease itself happened by a Scandinavian, Cesar Beck. It's also appropriate because Karolinska really has been one of the leaders in the study of sarcoidosis, and it's both epidemiologic, it's genetic, it's immunologic, and so you already start to see the use of multidisciplinary techniques to evaluate and study the pathobiology of sarcoidosis. As we think about how we will make progress in the future, not just in sarcoidosis, but in all the inflammatory diseases that can lead to fibrosis and in all the fibrotic lung diseases, I completely concur with Professor Grunwald that this is going to be team science. And so bringing together people with different degrees of expertise is really going to be the way that we can move forward. And it's exactly venues like this that allow us to make those connections, to build those relationships, and to generate those ideas that will lead to progress in the disease. So video conferencing was great. Zoom was just fine. It has its place. But I think there's no substitute for getting together with individual colleagues from around the world, meeting new people, learning new ideas. And I want to also echo what Natalia mentioned, and that is this meeting will only be as good as all of our participation. So please comment, please ask questions, ask easy questions, ask hard questions. Let's make this a safe space. No question is too simple. No question is too complex. Anybody can ask a question from the most junior person up to the most senior person. And so the more we do that, the better the dialogue will be and the more enjoyable this meeting will be. So again, I want to welcome all of you to the WASOG 2023. We have a packed agenda. It looks really wonderful. And without further ado, let's get started.